was jumped in there at inside backer for us, and kind of held down the fort on the inside part of our defense and did a good job as we kind of figured some things out last year with some other guys. He was, as a young guy, as a 10th grader last year, was kind of the steadying force for us, in the interior of our defense. And last year he was kind of the young guy. He was the 10th grader who made plays, did a lot of good things and that kind of stuff, but he could kind of sit back and let some of those seniors, some of those guys kind of be the leaders of that side of the ball. And this year he's evolved. Now he's one of those voices on the defensive side of the ball. So two outstanding young men, great representatives of our school. So we're excited to have them with us today. I appreciate what you guys do for high school sports, your coverage for our sport, for the kids throughout Mobile, Baldwin County and the surrounding area. I think it's as good as it gets, and I appreciate that. We're excited to get going. We're excited to get the season rolling. We've got a sports week next week, and then we'll come back for one more week of summer preparation, and then we'll come into August practice and the 3 weeks leading up to week 1, and leading up to our season. We've had a good off season. I feel like one of the things that we've done a good job with over the years is kind of developing our guys throughout the off season. Coach Herschel, John Herschel, does our strength conditioning program for all of our student athletes at the school in the weight room, and so these guys have been grinding and doing all the things throughout the season to get ready. Spring training was very productive. Found a lot of things out. And summer's been positive as well. So it's getting close to shifting gears to the season. This is a football team that, if you look at it on paper, you're going to see a lot of new faces, a lot of new names in terms of young guys. We've got outstanding senior leadership in terms of quality, but we don't have a ton of seniors in terms of numbers. So we have a lot of young guys who some that played a lot for us last year. We also have a good number of young guys that I really think are poised to kind of bust on the scene wide open this year. It's going to be some names that you guys, talk about and know about as the year goes. So, although we have a team that's kind of youth, we've got some sophomores, some juniors that also mixed in there with some key seniors. Even though we have some youth and inexperience in some spots, pretty dang talented, and we'll see how it goes. We got to grow up in a hurry. We've got some young guys that can do it. There's no doubt, but you got to grow up and play, and you got to be able to make those plays, when it counts. And we're excited to turn the page and get going into the season. So,
Coach, you talking about busting at the seams and busting out. You go right into it. Week 1, Daphne, Murphy, St. Paul's, Spanish Fort, like no rest for the weary right out the gate for you.
That's what they say. I don't know who made that schedule.
Talk to your schedule, man.
Wow. Our region is fun. Our region's fun. There's a lot of traditional schools that traditionally have been very good. We've been blessed over the years. We've won a bunch of games over the years. We've had some tremendous contests and games throughout the years. We know our region's going to be tough. We know, week in and week out, you got to be ready to play. There's some new coaches and new faces within our region that's going to just make things different. I know, when you see, some of the coaches that left, Ben Blackman and all those guys, when you play the same guys year over year, and I'm blessed and lucky to be, I guess, my 12th, 13th year at Saraland, you kind of know what you're going to get. You know what you're going to get in terms of scheme, in terms of personality. We've got some new, new blood, if you will, or new coaches, new schemes, new challenges. And, so that makes it fun. But it is going to be a challenge. 6A's, a tough deal. Everybody knows about that, talks about that. We've got 2 non-region games in Daphne and Foley, so 2 outstanding programs there. And, we'll tee it up and play and try to go 1-0 each week.
How have you seen Saraland change your 12th year coming in this football season, but the growth of Saraland, the community, the support, start driving down I-65, and it's just amazing that you see the growth there. From your track facility to your football stadium to your softball and baseball, but just the growth of the community and support that Saraland continues to have year in and year out.
We're blessed with nice things. You know, our support and community and administration, all those kind of things are good. But when I got there 12 years ago, we're practicing on our tennis court. You know, we're practicing on our tennis court. We trained and lifted weights for 9 years in a classroom. You know, which was awesome. We loved it. We made it good. We made it, you know, special. Our kids, that was not an issue. But there has been a lot of growth. There's been a lot of growth in terms of numbers, growth in terms of facilities, growth in terms of, you know, maybe what we've been able to put out there on the field and some of that kind of stuff. But that's been a fun process to be a part of. And it's not always been easy. You know, there's been a lot of players and coaches, and we don't have a lot of turnover, but there's been a lot of players and coaches throughout the last 12 years that's kind of helped mold and shape our program. I can think back to, you know, some of those special Friday nights that we've had, you know, in our stadium, whether it's in the playoff games, and whether you go all the way back to 13 and 14, you know, those 2 years back to back. You know, 18 was one of those years. 20, you know, 19 was one. There's just been a lot of players that's put a lot on the line to make Saraland a special place to be. And it goes back to the people. Right now, we've got tremendous support with our administration. Our principal, Mr. Harrison, Brent Harrison, couldn't ask for anything better or more supportive from a principal standpoint. Our superintendent, Dr. Milner, all those guys are former coaches, you know. But it ain't all about ball. You know, the things that our school and system have done academically, career tech programs, you know, our nursing programs, our welding, it's you know, whatever it is, you know, we want to try to put our best foot forward and do a great job. But you're right, there's been a lot of growth, you know, throughout the years. And I try to remind our guys that are lucky to be here now not to take anything for granted. You know, we come out the other day and it's raining as hard as it could rain on Monday evening, and we're able to get some work done, you know, and that's a blessing that we've had a lot of folks that's come through over the years in Saraland that, you know, kind of paved the way for where we are right now, and we're thankful to be a part of that.
I mean, KJ Lacey coming in from Daphne, Santana Williams, Ryan Williams, young pups, as everybody would call them. But all three of those guys have Division I offers. How much pressure does that put on you as a coach to make sure those kids?
I don't know if I call them pups because they're already pretty good. You know, Ryan Williams, you know, we'll talk about some of those guys as we go. Those guys are all going to be sophomores. Ryan is as electric as a guy. You know, came in last year as a freshman, and as the season went on, he became the big play guy for us. Jarrell was a guy that was a polished Division I, tough guy, but Jarrell could knock the top off the covers like nobody else. I mean, Ryan could. You know, and so he kind of got better and developed. The thing that Ryan has benefited from last year to this year is his body's starting to grow. He's starting to change. Last year he was athletic, but he was slim and trim. Now he's starting to get a little, muscle and explosion. And they're great kids. Those kids you mentioned, unbelievable kids, unselfish, great teammates, don't care about the notoriety or who gets the credit or whatever. But, you know, Ryan's an outstanding young man, fun to coach. KJ, you know, just so impressed with him day in and day out. You know, really has a passion to learn the game of football at another level. You know, really, you know, because playing quarterback, it's almost like learning a new language at times. You got to learn the terminology. You got to learn, you know, thought process. You got to know what to look at pre-snap and see the rotations and know what those guys are doing defensively, but also know what all 11 guys offensively are doing. Now, if they do this, I may have to check or look. And so all that kind of stuff, he's just like a sponge. He soaks that up. And then the physical stuff just takes care of itself. You know, he can make the throws. He's got a quiet, calm kind of maturity, a confidence that, you know, just rubs off on guys. And I think KJ, before it's said and done, in the next couple of years is going to be as good as anybody in the country. I really do. Sante, you know, Sante rolled in after about the third day of spring training as an 8th grader. He was there starting tailback. We knew it. I think everybody else knew it. Just one of the most mature young kids that made a mark early. We'll go through a practice. We practiced today, lifted. Sante may have said 20 words all day. I don't know. He you know, Sante's about that work. You know, he's a leader without a doubt, but he's a lead by example guy. And does the things that the dirty work that a good running back needs to do with protections. You know, when he's a willing blocker, and all those kind of things. And you know, so those 3 guys are sophomores. There's some other young guys too that we're going to learn a lot about. C.D. Gill is going to be a guy as a receiver that, you know, is going to get some opportunities to do some fun stuff. He's a matchup nightmare for some defensive guys, especially in the slot. Mike Smith's a guy that offensively as a receiver had a really big spring for us, a big spring game. He's going to get a lot of chances to make plays in there. Baxter is there working with our tight end, does a lot of things with us in the run and RPO and pass game. And, you know, so you put those guys together with 3 returning offensive linemen, you know, and Clint Smith is a returning senior that, you know, one of the biggest things that we're going to have to replace from an offensive standpoint is, and all you guys that's been around, you know, got to know CT, you know, Engelbert, number 5, our fullback. He was such a versatile guy. And he did a lot of things for us, but he graduated. And, you know, so Clint Smith is kind of in that role. And defensively, you know, you look at on paper, you know, probably 2, 3 or 4 starters returning. All right, so that's scary in a lot of situations. But I like these guys. You know, we're young and green and inexperienced. I don't think they know it. I don't think they care. We got 4 guys in the secondary that's kind of all new to the party, and they got to go play and prove it. I think that, you know, we've got probably 6 or 7 guys that may sort that deal out in the secondary. You know, in the linebacking core, you know, Chris has been in the fray all year last year. Jameson Curtis is an outside backer, an edge guy that battled some injury stuff last year, but he's been, you know, he's going to be as good as anybody in this area as well on the edge. And, you know, you got some other talented young guys, both at linebacker and D-line, that, you know, we'll see. And, you know, and then you look at the kicking game. You know, Baxter's also our snapper, and we've got a senior kicker, Hunter Kirkland, who also doubles as our punter. He's a very talented punter. He didn't get a punt last year because Jack Smith was the kid that signed with Clemson. He held that down, but Hunter's a very talented punter as well. But, you know, Hunter's a kid that can kick it off. He's going to be in the end zone most of the time with his kickoffs. You know, he's going to have a little range with our field goals. So we're tremendously inexperienced, but I may like this football team more than I've liked any others in July. So we'll see. Another part of it is most all of them's going to be back for a year or 2 years. So, you know, we've got, but we got a lot of work to do. We know, you know, every time wherever we go. First game, Daphne, I heard it on the notes, your notes in the paper yesterday. Everybody we play is going to circle us. You know, I don't know if Kenny's trying to sell tickets over there at Daphne or what. So I'm going to just go ahead and say that right there. Kenny want to make it about that deal right there. All right, with those guys. Heck, he's been around more football. He knows better than that. He may just be trying to sell tickets or get his guys jacked up or ready. Hey, so get the tickets. By golly, get the tickets. You know, if that's the way, you know. But, hey, we're going to roll in wherever. Wherever we go, we're going to have the target on our backs, you know, and let's go play. Let's go play. We may get whipped, but we're gonna show up the next week, try to do it again.
You seem more confident in this bunch than you have with older, more experienced teams.
We'll see. We got a lot of work to do. We got a lot of work to do, Mr. Thomas. We got a lot of work to do. No, we got a lot of work to do, but I'll tell you what we got. We got guys that can run. We got guys that are explosive, tremendously inexperienced, but they love to practice. They love to work. We got great leadership. I go to work with guys that know the game, that love on the players. Heck, maybe it's just getting old. I didn't know. I got to looking around. I'm getting old, Ben.
Not that old.
There ain't, I got to looking at who's been coaching in the area. Terry's been around here, a long time.
Comparatively,
Comparatively, I guess by default, getting on up there. But these guys are fun to coach, and I don't know if confidence is the right word. I'm just ready to maybe ready to get done with spring training, ready to get done with summer, and let's get in the season and just see how it shakes out.
You're certainly the elder statesman of the region at your school. And you got Collier at Theodore.
Collier's been there for absolutely. So we, but there's a lot of great programs, and you mentioned Eric and those guys at Theodore. They whipped our tail last year to open the season. They're a physical football team, and they're going to be, a tremendous challenge for anybody they play. Coach Joseph, I got a ton of respect for Coach Joseph and McGill. We play them late in the season. Spanish Fort's going to be in the mix. Blunt, is always, poised to go have a great year and beat you if you don't play. And then you throw in St. Paul's, into the mix. Those kids are used to winning. So there's a lot of programs. Baldwin County was a very, very good football team last year with a bunch coming back last year. So you can be a good football team in this region and be in sixth place. So, I feel like we got a good football team. Now, we still may be in sixth place. I don't know. We got to go to work. We got a ton to do. But you're right. I'm confident in these kids in the fact that they love to practice. They love to work. We got a lot of, we're going to experience new things. We have guys that's going to experience new things as young guys as they grow up. But I'll tell you this, the more that all those guys play, they're going to get better and better. So we got to stay healthy just like everybody else.
How big, before we get your guys up there, how big was it to have two guys drafted in the NFL?
Unbelievable. That was, you can't downplay the significance of that. When you think about Valus Jones and Cordell, they grew up probably 100, 200 yards apart. Great kids, great family. And when you see them develop from 6th and 7th grade, you see Valus, just overcome so many challenges in college, to make himself, when a lot of people would have quit when he graduated from USC, got that degree, a lot of folks would have given up on that dream. But Valus didn't do that. He went to Tennessee and, worked himself into an outstanding NFL prospect. And Cordell, Cordell was the young cat when his older brother and Valus were all coming through. Cordell had no choice but to be tough because he was 2 or 3 years behind those guys, and they didn't cut him no slack. And but to see the work that they put in back in the day, and then get to where I think they're going to have outstanding careers. I think Cordell is going to, grow into one of the really successful corners in the league, and I think Valus is going to be one of those, slot guys that return punts and kicks. So we're proud of them. We're very excited for both of those guys. I look forward to watching them.
All right, we're going to get the guys up there. You want to go
Awesome.
first?
Thanks.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Seems like optimism is high this year. Tell us about what you think going into the year about Saraland.
I've grown up at Saraland. I've had family graduate from Saraland. both my brothers did. Going up, going to games, it's just a culture. It's just who we are. We have a lot of support, and we're expected to win, and we expect ourselves to win. Every time we get on the field, every time we're in the weight room, it's not just coaches holding each other. We hold each other responsible because we know that we're held to a standard that our best isn't good enough. We need to do what's required, and that's to go out and win.
Baxter, I can't say how many times we've had a specialist come to media days besides maybe a punter, but I don't recall a long snapper. What is it that draws you to that, and how do you perfect that? Because that is a particular art that you need to have. Not every time, yes, but it needs to be perfect literally every time.
Yes, sir. It was just a way for me to get on the field. I'm 5'10", 180 pounds, and that gets you. A lot of guys play like that in high school, but you're not always the biggest, you're not always the fastest, and you're not the strongest a lot. So I just wanted to get on the field. I wanted to play. I wanted to help and impact the game. And this, long snapping was a way for me to do that. It is an art, and it's hard to perfect it. It's a lot like shooting a basketball or swinging a golf club or hitting a baseball. Heck, even throwing a football as a quarterback. It's reps and muscle memory. And it's like an assassin. You get one chance, and if you go out and mess it up, coach is on your tail. And you don't get to downplay those. So I just, and it's more than me, especially specialists. It's more than just a long snapper. My holder, I had a good one last year. Jack, good punter. I had a lot of confidence in him that, I may not get the best snap, and he was going to get it off. I got a lot of confidence in my holder, my punter this year. Hunter, he made a lot of good kicks last year, and he's going to make a lot more this year. Specialist is going to be a weapon for us, and we just want to be a weapon that Coach Kelly can use. We want to flip the field. We want to win the field position battle. We want to be able to make kicks when we don't convert like we should on third down maybe. And I just have a lot of confidence in me and those guys.
I don't interrupt, but I would like to say Baxter is one of I think the only three-sport guy at our school.
Oh, wow.
On a baseball
Wow.
team and a very good basketball player. It's hard to do nowadays, but he's done a great job with that in all sports.
How do you handle the pressure when Coach Kelly decides to call one of those famous Kelly trick plays? How do you keep the straight face before you snap it?
It ain't nothing to it. It's just we practice it all the time, and we do it. It's just a part of who we are, and when Coach calls it and has the confidence in us to do it, we have confidence in each other. We know that we're prepared to do it. Chris, I think, was on the Pride team with us last year when we went out and ran it against McGill early in the game, and Sante made a big run, and we were down there, and that was exciting. And Coach calling those, it gives us confidence in ourselves because he believes in us. Every team practices trick plays, and not every team uses them. Coach believes in us and believes in our abilities to do that, and we like to just go out and make him proud and make our fans proud and do what we do.
Baxter, now, Coach said you also play tight end, so tight ends they gotta be able to block as well. Now, knowing you're not the typical size of a tight end, when you're seeing somebody big come at you, what can you can do within you to be able to beat that defender?
I'm sure a lot of y'all are familiar with a big guy named Trayvon McAlpine. I was a center for 2 years at Saraland, and I did a lot of our scout team stuff. So Coach Fancher and Coach Kelly asked me to go up against him every day. So when I step on the field and I put pads on, and I don't really care how big anyone is, I'm not afraid. I will line up and hit you just like you're the same as me. Angles, knowing what I've been coached, Coach Fancher does a great job of hand placement, hat placement, feet placement, and giving me little advantages that I can use. But I'm not going to see anybody better than big number 95, and so I got used to that early and often, and so I have respect for everyone I play, but I will not fear anyone I play or how big they are. It doesn't matter to me. Everybody puts their pants on the same way. We'll go tee it up.
You thank Coach Kelly for giving you that opportunity to go against Trayvon?
There were some days that it went through my head what he was thinking, but it definitely made me better. And Trey is the guy that, he'll put you on your butt and he would help you up. And so I learned a lot from that. He taught me a lot about leading. He wasn't a big vocal guy. He just led by example. He showed up every day. And so that's what I try to do. Show up every day and do what Coach asks of me, and we're going to be a good football team.
Thank you, Baxter.
Yes, sir.
Chris? How you doing, Chris?
You know, how about you?
Good, man. Talk a little bit about the defense, Spartan defense this year.
I feel like we're very athletic on that side of the ball. We got a bunch of inexperienced guys, young guys that maybe got a couple reps last year, but I feel like we'll all be fine at the end of the day because got guys play sideline to sideline, any position they want to, just make a play.
Coach seems really confident in this group, despite all you guys saying you were inexperienced. Do you feel the talent around you type thing?
Yes, sir. I feel like it's not always about talent. Because, I mean, yeah, we got a bunch of talented guys, but when we get out there, everybody wants to go to work, everybody wants to be there, everybody's showing up on time, just willing to do whatever it takes to be better at what they do, perfect their craft.
What was it like to go to Southern Miss and play in that state?
It was hot, but it was fun. I mean, it's something new, something I've never been a part of, other than, the games at last, stuff like that. But playing on a college field like that, it was fun. It's something out of the ordinary for us. And I just thought it was something fun we could do together, go experience something like that.
Did you go by the Jeff Kelly statue?
I must have missed out.
Talk about these guys. Coach talked about that trio of guys, particularly you got on offense, KJ and Ryan and Sante. How, from your defensive side, how tough are those guys?
Man. Practice is rough sometimes. I mean, yeah, Ryan, he's scary to just be in front of him. You see him get out there, he can run anything on you, and it's going to be hard to stop. And you got Sante, he's like a bowling ball. I mean, I joke, pick around with him here and there, but once it's time for you to have to make a tackle on him, you better have your stuff together. It's not going to be easy. And KJ, he's fun to watch. Even if you're not on the field at the moment, he's just fun to watch to me. He's going to put the ball out there. He's got an arm, just throw it out. I'll pick around with him too, because he's a smaller guy. You're in the weight room with him, you're like, dude, what are you doing? Then we go out to practice, he's over here throwing the ball 40, 50 yards. It's funny to watch. I think I like it. I love being around the guys. They're all good guys. There's a great group of guys in general, the whole team, but those three guys are dynamic in my opinion.
What's your goals for the year?
Everybody, I feel like every team has the same goals, finishing the year, a trophy, But me personally, I want to go win, but I want to build a bond with my buddies and stuff like that, and go out there and compete. At the end of the day, just win and have fun. Whether you win or you lose, just have something there, because at the end of the day, once school is over, you're state champion, it'd be all cool and fun or whatever, but what would you remember? The memories you made or winning up? And then, I would love that memory to win with them guys, but it wouldn't really change anything to me. I just want to go out there and just enjoy having fun with my brothers and stuff like that.
Chris, who calls the plays on defense when you're out there? Is it you or one of your other teammates? And if it's you, how do you know what defense to get your guys in, make sure who's where, and make sure they're in the right position so they can actually make a play?
Well, most of the time, we get it from the sideline, but once you get out there, you get the call and you see the formation. If something changes, I'm the guy that has to tell everybody, it's got to be here or there. But that's about how that goes. It's a challenge sometimes, but it's something you got to get over and look forward to, have fun. Just don't let what's going on, what you see, confuse you. Just play like you play. Don't think about it, just do it.
All right, guys, Coach, thank you. Look forward to seeing y'all this year.
Mm-hmm.